The views, information, and opinions expressed during the following program are solely those of the individuals involved and do not necessarily represent the views of Access Communications, its representatives, or its employees.
Well, welcome everyone to the regular meeting of the Weyburn City Council held here in Council Chambers at 6 p.m. Monday, March 28th, 2022. The first thing we will have is the approval of the minutes of the regular council meeting and strategic planning and priorities meeting held March 14th, 2022. Have a motion, please.
I'll make that motion, Your Worship.
I'll second that, Your Worship.
Call the question. All in favor? Carried. Additions to the agenda. Mr. Warren?
Thank you, Your Worship. There's no additions tonight from administration.
Council? Seeing none, we're moving forward. Before we move forward, we welcome Dalton Molnar from the Youth Council. He is sitting here, and he can speak. If you wish to put up your hand, if you have anything to add to any of the subjects we talk about, although he's not a voting member, he can, you can speak and voice your opinion. Public hearings and notices, there are none. Delegations, proclamations, and petitions, there are none. Reports of the Standing Committee, there are none. Consent agenda, Public Works report for February, that will be on the website we just noted as received, right? Pardon me, you do have a motion, please?
Yes, Your Worship. I'll make a motion that the item on the consent agenda, the Public Works report for February, be accepted as presented.
I'll second that, Your Worship.
Call the question. All in favor? Carried unanimously. Motions, accounts payable. Do we have a motion, please?
Yes, Your Worship. I'd like to make a motion that the purchases in the amount of $392,703.36 from March 11th to March 24th, 2022 be passed for payment.
Your Worship, I'll second that motion.
Questions? Call the question. All in favor? Carried unanimously. Introduction of bylaws, assessment role extension. Laura, would that be yours?
Good evening. So by legislation, we're required to send out the assessment notices to taxpayers by April 1st, and we usually don't receive the assessment roll from SAMA in time. So like this year, we have not received it. So we are asking to have it extended to May 31st.
I have a motion, please.
Your Worship, I'd like to make a motion that bylaw 2022-3441, a bylaw to extend the assessment roll from April 1st to May 31st, 2022, be read a first time.
I'll second that, Your Worship.
Questions? Seeing none, call the question. All in favor? Carried unanimously.
Your Worship, I'd like to make a motion that bylaw 2022-3441, a bylaw to extend the assessment roll from April 1st to May 31st, 2022, be read a second time.
I'll second that, Your Worship.
Call the question. All in favor? Carried unanimously.
Your Worship, I'd like to make a motion that bylaw 2022-3441, a bylaw to extend the assessment roll from April 1st to May 31st, 2022, be given 3 readings at this meeting.
I'll second that.
Call the question. All in favor? Carried unanimously.
And Your Worship, I'd like to make a motion that bylaw 2022-3441, a bylaw to extend the assessment roll from April 1st to May the 31st, 2022, be read a 3rd time and passed.
I'll second that, Your Worship.
Call the question. All in favor? Carried unanimously. Very good. Passed unanimously. There's no unfinished business. New business. Pre-budget approval request for fire turnout clothing. Chief Lee, if you would, please.
Good evening, Your Worship, Councillors. For 2023, we're looking for a pre-approval to order an extra 10 sets of turnout gear for the firefighters. Currently, it's taken over a year for orders to be received, and an order that was placed in April of last year just arrived this year this week. The order I placed in January of this year is not expected to show up until sometime in the new year of 2023. To avoid our firefighters being without authorized or certified gear, we're looking for a pre-approval process to order this gear this year. Won't arrive till next year and will be invoiced next year.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Your Worship. Thank you, Trent, for coming this evening. The question I have for you is how many turnout gear do we need for our fire department in Weyburn, the total amount?
All certified 1001 certified firefighters should have 2 sets of gear. With an average of 30 firefighters, we would need 60 sets in inventory.
So what's happened now, as your record shows, you have 6 on order and 10 on order, and you have 7 in stock, so you got 23, and you want to order 10, so we're still behind.
We'll still be behind, but with our current membership and active firefighters, we'll be in a better position to pre-plan our purchases in the future and get into a rotation of annual purchasing to get us on track for not having a surprise order of such an expensive set of turnout gear.
Thanks for bringing this forward, Trent.
Thank you, sir.
Do you have a motion?
Your Worship, I would move that the pre-budget approval for 2023 be provided to the fire chief to order firefighter turnout clothing at a cost of $27,500 with an expected 1-year delivery of equipment from the date of order, and that the fire chief be directed to include this item in the 2023 fire department operating budget.
Second?
I'll second that, Your Worship.
Questions? Go ahead.
Your Worship, not a question, but these kind of supply chain issues are plaguing us all across the board, and this is something we're going to have to look at going forward, so I definitely support this.
Laura, I was going to ask, this is not going to be too much disruption at 27,000?
No, because the payment will be next year.
Okay. Any other questions? Call the question. All in favor? Carried unanimously. You can go ahead there. Thank you.
Your Worship.
Development permit, discretionary use. Janine.
Good evening, Council. A discretionary use development permit application has been received from Mertz Holdings for the development of an entryway on an existing office building at 6018th Street. The site is currently zoned medium industrial, and offices for administration are considered discretionary use in that zone. Therefore, an addition requires a discretionary use development permit approval from Council. The subject property is located at the corner of 18th Street and East Avenue. And I will note that East Avenue is considered the front property line when you're looking at the overhead imagery there. The applicant is proposing an addition to the north side, which is the East Avenue side. And the proposed addition encroaches into the front yard setback by 0.5 meters. So a minor variance is requested as part of the development permit approval. So I've included the overhead imagery there from Google Maps, which is more recent than what we had in our system. And then there's a site plan included as well, which shows where the new addition will go. And as you can see, the setback is shown in the dotted line on that site plan. So you can see it's a fairly minor encroachment into the front yard setback. And it's only 96 square feet. So it is a very small entryway. And then I've also included a closer up view of that entryway, and you can see that that corner, just where the property line is on an angle, is just cut off there. So that's the only spot that it encroaches into the setback. And then there's an elevation image as well as to what the addition will look like. So discretionary uses require a neighborhood notice to be sent out to all residents within a 75-meter radius of the property. Notices were sent out on March 10th, and no concerns were received. The proposal is for a 96 square foot addition for an entryway attached to the existing building. The use of the building was previously approved for an office use in 2014 as a discretionary use, and the building will continue to be used as an office building. So it's still considered discretionary use approval. Additionally, the applicant is proposing that the addition be at a front yard setback on the East Avenue side of 7.1 meters, whereas 7.6 meters is required. So the zoning bylaw discretionary use development permits should be evaluated based on their consistency with the OCP and zoning requirements. The medium industrial zone is designed to provide for a wide range of industrial uses. It requires a front yard setback of 7.6 meters, and East Avenue is considered the front property line. Given that it's on an angle to the existing building, the addition encroaches into the required setback by 0.5 meters at the pinch point in the northwest corner. Therefore, a minor variance is requested through the development permit process. A minor variance request is within the parameters of what can be varied under section 3.4 of the zoning bylaw, as it's only a 6.6 relaxation of the minimum distance to a lot line. A minor variance can be approved up to 25%. Minor variances for discretionary uses cannot be approved by the development officer. They must be referred to council for approval as per the zoning bylaw. The subject development is a minor addition and is consistent with the OCP and zoning bylaw, and the minor variance request is considered minor in scale. So council's options would be to approve the development permit 2022.009 for an addition to an office at 60 18th Street, which includes minor variance approval for the front yard setback subject to the following conditions. A minor variance for a front yard setback of 7.1 meters has been granted, conditional upon no objections from the adjoining property owners. The addition shall be constructed generally in accordance with the plan submitted, and a building permit shall be obtained prior to construction. Option number 2 would be to refuse development permit 2022.009 for an addition, and the reasons would have to be provided tonight for that refusal. So the staff recommendation, the development permit application meets the requirements of the zoning bylaw except for the front yard setback, which can be approved through a minor variance and is a minimal relaxation for the corner of the addition. The office use already existed prior to this proposal and is not changing in intensity, and therefore staff are recommending option number 1 to approve the discretionary use development permit with the conditions listed above, which includes the approval of the minor variance at 6.6% relaxation to the front yard setback. And this also went to district planning for review, and they had no issues with it.
Your worship, I move the development permit application 2022.009 for an addition to the office at number 60 18th Street Northeast, which includes a minor variance approval for the front yard setback, be approved subject to the following conditions. Minor variance for a front yard setback of 7.1 meters has been granted, conditional upon no objections from the adjoining property owners. The additions shall be constructed generally in accordance with the plan submitted, and a building permit shall be obtained prior to construction.
Second.
I'll second that motion, your worship.
Discussion? Seeing none, call the question. All in favor? Carried unanimously. The next one here that, did you wish to step down? Go ahead. The city-owned residential lots.
Yes, your worship, I'll excuse myself as I have a pecuniary interest.
Okay. Go ahead, Janine.
So we're looking at the prices of city-owned vacant residential lots here. The city of Weyburn was previously involved in the development of vacant city-owned land into new residential subdivisions. In 1989, the first phase of the Assiniboia Park subdivision was approved and development commenced in the early 2000s. This phase included McTaggart Place, Johnston Drive, and McTaggart Drive. Phase 2 was approved in 2010, which includes Veterans Road, Veterans Way, Schlosser Drive, and Button Road. And I've attached the map in Appendix A. The city of Weyburn has moved away from carrying out subdivisions for purposes of developing new residential areas due to private developers and landowners undertaking those developments. However, the city still owns several lots in the existing Assiniboia Park subdivision that have not been sold yet for residential dwellings. These lots are available on the city's website with information about pricing, zoning, and available services. The Planning and Development Department was tasked with reviewing strategies and pricing for these vacant lots to encourage the sale of the lots for residential dwellings to be built. The lot prices were originally established based on the actual costs incurred by the city at the time of development and servicing of the lots, including all utilities, surveying, roads, grading, etc. Given that the lots have not sold in more than 10 years, the costs of developing the lots have not been recovered by the city, and there is a continued cost of maintaining the lots each year through maintaining grass and weeds. There are currently 6 fully serviced lots along McTaggart Drive that are still vacant and owned by the city. The remaining lots on McTaggart Drive have been sold and built on. To encourage the sale and development of the 6 vacant lots to complete the existing neighborhood, it is recommended that City Council consider reducing the lot prices of the 6 McTaggart Drive lots. The current prices of those lots range from $132,000 to $144,000 listed below. Table 1 provides the existing pricing of the McTaggart Drive lots and the proposed options for pricing, with option number 1 being a 25% discount for the original price, and option number 2 being a 50% discount from the original price. All pricing excludes GST. So I've included that table of all the pricing of the lots, including the legal land description and what the new lot prices would come out to at the different options. So I reviewed comparable municipalities and their pricing of residential city-owned lots in comparable municipalities and found that the City of Weyburn lots are priced on the high end when compared to other mid-sized cities in the province. The average price per square foot of land ranged from $8.91 per square foot to $18.28 per square foot. Infill lots were not considered. The 6 available lots on McTaggart Drive are listed at an average price of $18.28 per square foot, which is the most expensive of the municipalities that were reviewed by staff. City of Weyburn's pricing is not competitive with other similar sized municipalities in the province, so the pricing could be reduced to remain competitive with other municipalities. If the city went with option number 1 to reduce by 25%, the average price per square foot would be $13.71, and option number 2 would be $9.14 per square foot. So the decision options before council tonight, option number 1 would be that council approves the reduction of the land prices for the above mentioned lots in table 1 by 25% in accordance with the prices listed in option number 1 of table 1, and that council directs staff to update the pricing on the city's website accordingly. Option number 2 would be that council approves the reduction of the land prices for the above mentioned lots in table 1 by 50% in accordance with the prices listed in option number 2 of table 1, and that council directs staff to update the pricing on the city's website accordingly. Option number 3 would be that council does not reduce the land prices and keeps the existing pricing of the above mentioned lots in effect. So staff recommendation would be that given the 6 fully serviced vacant lots on McTaggart Drive have not sold to date and are located in a neighborhood with existing development, staff would recommend that City Council reduce the prices of the lots by 50% in accordance with option number 2 to encourage the sale of the lots.
Do we have
a motion, Your Worship, and then I'll have a question to the motion after. I make a motion that council reduce the lot prices of the 6 fully serviced existing city-owned lots in the Assiniboia Park subdivision by 50% as recommended.
I'll second that, Your Worship.
discussion?
Thank you, Your Worship. How many other city lots does the City of Weyburn own?
Well, residential lots, we have these
Yes.
6,
How
and
many?
then there's these 6 on McTaggart Drive, and then there's another 12 serviced lots along Veterans Road, as you can see on the map there that Matthew's showing. There are a few on either side that aren't fully serviced yet, and then there are about another 45 unserviced roads or lots to the north there. So, other than infill lots.
Okay, thank you for that. But the question I asked then, we're only reducing 6 at this point. So if the general public sees this meeting tonight and says, maybe I'm interested in something else, can they come in and talk to you?
Yeah, we have the pricing listed for all the ones that are in green, I believe, because those are all the serviced ones. So that's on the city website, and if they came in, they could look at buying those properties. This request right now is only for the 6 on McTaggart Drive to reduce them.
I think what happened in the past is that, Your Worship, when the developers were in town, Riverwood Creeks and on Douglas Heights, the city was up there with them. We didn't want to compete with them that much. So that's been quite a few years ago. So it's time to readjust the numbers, because this is tax dollars that has been spent, and we haven't replenished that. But I think it's a good step forward, and we'll see what happens. Thanks again.
Comments?
Thank you, Your Worship. Janine, what would the cost to the city be for maintenance on those lots each year?
Currently, the Parks Department mows them approximately once a month, depending on their workload and schedule, and the approximate cost would be between $1,500 and $2,000 a year.
Okay. And my second one, if those properties did sell, would there be any effect on the property taxes in that area of the city?
I don't believe so. I did talk with the city assessor today, and she didn't think that it would impact them.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Your Worship. Janine, thank you for the report. I'm just curious, how much interest have we had in the past for these particular lots, if any?
We've had a few inquiries, very few serious ones. I believe there was only one that there was a deposit put down on and never came back for. We haven't sold any of the lots in this area since 2012, so that's, a decade there.
Have you received any feedback from those individuals that have inquired as to why they haven't moved forward with purchase?
I don't believe so. I am not sure, though.
Okay, thank you.
Good.
Janine, you said that these costs originally were based on what it cost to service the lots and develop them, or create them, I should say. It seems to me that if we consider that cost sunk as of 2012 and amortized over 10 years, the difference between option 2 and option 1 of the city is fairly negligible. I guess my only question would be, average price per square foot of the land in other municipalities, is that what they are selling for or what they are listed for?
That's what they're listed for, and typically that's what council sets, and that's what we would accept for an offer. I'm not sure if they've had any movement on their lots, but a few of them were providing a discount on some of them because I'm assuming they're in similar situations to our city.
Excellent, thank you. I support the motion as worded then.
Further questions? I guess, Janine, we had asked this question. If any people wanted to take 2 of these, 3 of these lots and divide in there, that's an option that they can do that to make larger lots, right?
Yeah, if they wanted a larger lot, they could buy multiple ones and consolidate them through a plan of subdivision.
Okay. But that's on their cost?
Yeah, that would be at their cost, yeah.
No further questions? Call the question. All in favor? Carried unanimously. Very good. Oh, okay. I'm going to start off with the inquiries and announcements here tonight. The first off, that the City Hall has received numerous inquiries and announcements, numerous inquiries from the public, the government of Saskatchewan's refugee program for the Ukrainian refugees. So the statement, one of the things that we would like to say is the government of Saskatchewan has developed a dedicated website to provide support for Ukraine, including ways to publicly support and resources for displaced Ukrainians. The City of Weyburn has provided the direct link to our social media outlets, and that is on, it's www.saskatchewan.ca/residents/Saskatchewan-supports-Ukraine. And that is right on our website, and you can go follow that through. Also, the government of Saskatchewan is working closely with the Canadian Congress of Saskatchewan the UCC to provide central point of contact and coordination to help anyone arriving to the province from Ukraine to connect with the information, services, and support they need. If a resident or organization is looking for ways to help those who may be arriving from Ukraine, you can contact the UCC Saskatchewan at 1-888-652-5850. UCC Saskatchewan will be working closely with other settlement service providers, employers, and communities. You can also donate to the Canadian Red Cross Ukraine Humanitarian Crisis Appeal. So with that, that's my one announcement. I just want to kind of turn it over to Jennifer Wilkinson. What is interesting in the a very municipally all across Canada magazine, engineering magazine, Weyburn is featured in it. Go ahead, Jennifer.
So the Environmental Science and Engineering magazine, the City of Weyburn is actually featured under the wastewater section for a new automated bio-augmentation reduces lagoon sludge. So they approached us and we entered into an agreement with Bioorganic Technologies, and basically we are putting these bioorganics into our lift stations, and it is removing the fats, oils, grease within our lift stations, as well as we are seeing a reduce in our heavy sludges within our lagoons. So it's a really neat technology and a very attractive option for us. It's not mechanical and it's not a large capital expenditure. So we are featured in this magazine for it. So it's actually really neat.
Go ahead, Dick.
Very good, Jennifer. Thank you. Your Worship, I don't know how to phrase this, but I have to tell you the truth. A birthday of an individual, I think, is a very important part of your life. And a birthday of a councillor who attends a meeting on his birthday, I think, is very special. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm not talking about myself. I'm talking about Councillor Ryan Janke. So Ryan, happy birthday.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Councillor Mickle. I appreciate the round of applause for having survived another year.
Any further? Nothing? Nothing further? So with that, that completes our meeting. Oh, there's no notice of motion, but just before inquiries announcements, just about all of council will be going to SUMA starting on Sunday, and we'll go through the week. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, all as we go through, and that will be our move forward here on it. And so listen to the radio and the media, because we will be giving reports back as to different events that are going on within SUMA. With that, no notice of motion, and so I call the meeting adjourned. Adjourned.